You can be an extreme introvert and get women. You can be an extreme extrovert and get women. You can be an extreme extrovert and get no pussy. You can be an extreme introvert and get no pussy. So usually the things you're describing are symptoms of people who are introverts. Okay, so introvert means you get energized more by staying alone, reading, walking, doing, going to the gym, doing personal stuff. And when you're around people, that kind of drains you, and you kind of have like this imaginary time limit when you're around people, where it kind of like, to be around people kind of drains your energy. So after a certain period of time, you feel like, ugh, and you have to go away and into your cave and kind of like recharge. So is that relevant so far? Okay. So one thing you need to know, and I'm like that too, okay? I'm like super, super introvert, okay? So one thing you need to know is, this comes back to self-acceptance and knowing yourself the way you are. If you're an introvert, then it's just natural that you have this invisible energy meter that will be depleted after a certain amount of time of being around others. Okay? So maybe it's an hour, maybe it's 5 hours, maybe it's 3 hours, maybe it depends on who you're with, right? But 1 second, Burke, I'll get to you. But the first step is knowing, okay, this is how I work. Okay, I'm probably more on the introverted side, and so I energize by being alone, and I spend energy around people, and that's okay. That's just the way you are. Okay, I have a friend who is like a pure extrovert, and when he's alone, he gets drained, and then he starts like calling and knocking on people's doors and going crazy, trying to speak to someone to get some energy. Okay, so he's all the way on the other side. Okay. What I discovered, okay, so for years, I thought being an introvert is bad, being an extrovert is good, right? Who can relate to that? Oh, look at that, right? That's what society and Hollywood and movies have unconsciously programmed into our minds without explicitly telling us, right? So step number one is to know it is okay to be on either extreme and anywhere in between, and it has no impact on your ability to get women. You can be an extreme introvert and get women. You can be an extreme extrovert and get women. You can be an extreme extrovert and get no pussy. You can be an extreme introvert and get no pussy. There's no direct correlation between introversion and extroversion and a man's ability to get women. Okay? Let me say that again. There is no correlation between a man's introversion and extroversion related to getting women. It doesn't matter. Okay? So the first step is just, it's okay. Okay? Know who you are, where you are on the scale. Some people are called ambiverts, which is they feel like they're both. They can be both. Sometimes I'm this, sometimes I'm that, right? So Sanjay, for you, from what you're describing, you're more introvert. Okay? So step one is just accepting and telling yourself, okay, I'm an introvert, and so people stress me out to some degree, and that's just how it is. I have a time limit, and I have to manage that time limit, and afterwards I have to go and recharge. It's like, okay, this is how I am. I have this invisible energy meter. It will be depleted after a certain amount of time. Let me accept that first and then see how I'm going to work with that. That's step number one. And not spend my time trying to change it like Jad did, wasting 10 years of his life thinking he could change himself to extrovert, only to discover that, no, you're just born somewhere on that scale, and that's where you are. And it's okay.